Folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey, and today I'd like to take a look at this little gem right here, Assassinorum Execution Force, come out from Games Workshop and Warhammer 40k universe. Basically, this is a game where it is a cooperative style game where each of the 4 players will take one of the assassins into a chaos sanctum and try to find the sorcerer lord and take him out before he is able to accomplish his nefarious deeds. In this game, the assassins are being sent to take out the Chaos Sorcerer Lord and rid the universe of his existence. And so as they're doing that, they don't know the exact layout of the sanctum that they're being sent to. So they have to find first of all the control room that turns the power on for the teleport room. And then they also have to find the teleport room so that they can transport themselves to the temple. And then once they are in the temple, they can actually have the ability to take out the Sorcerer Lord. It sounds easy, and it kind of is, but it's not as easy as you would think, because this little guy right here, the minion for his Sorcerer Lord, is actually also a round counter. You only have 16 rounds in which to take out the Sorcerer Lord. If you do not, by the end of that 16th round, the game is over. He has done his nefarious plan, and you have failed the mission. Each round of the game is taken care of in 2 phases. There's the Assassins phase, where the Assassins can do all of their actions, and then there is the Chaos phase, where all of the Renegades can take their phase, their actions. The Chaos phase is a little bit more involved, but the Assassins phase happens, and then the Chaos phase happens. You move the turn marker, then we go back to the Assassins phase, and then the Cultist phase, and so forth and so on, until either the game-winning conditions are met and that the Sorcerer Lord is destroyed, or the countdown marker gets down to 0, in which the assassins lose. At the beginning of the game, each of the assassins will take the entry points. Here, there's 4 squares there, so 1 square for each assassin. And then 4 dice are rolled, 1 at a time, and Chaos cultists with auto pistols are placed on the entry point. Facing does matter to determine line of sight in this game, so do take that into account. Now, during the Assassin's phase, you can, it is a cooperative style game, so you can choose whatever order you would like to for the assassins to go. So, for example, if I wanted the Calidus assassin to go first, she would, and so she can move up to 6 spaces. So she would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and she would then be able to have line of sight on this. When you have line of sight on one of these shaded areas, that's where a room tile would go. And so the Roman numeral number denotes how many tiles you turn over. And then you would place the lowest numbered tile in that spot. Now, we also look to see if any troops show up are in that room, and there is. So that means that a Chaos Specialist with a auto gun goes right here, facing the direction of the longest arrow. The Cultist is put as being stunned. So we surprised him. He cannot do anything this turn. That stunned marker, however, will turn into an on alert marker at the beginning of the next Assassin's phase. So we have to see if we can take him out before he can raise the alarm. So we have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then that was her first action. The second action is going to be to fight. The Calidus assassin, when she's fighting with her phase sword, rolls 1 die and adds 2 to it, and then she has to get higher, 4 or higher on that. So it's a 5 plus 2 is 7. The guy is toast. Okay, so we continue on with the assassin's phase. The Eversor assassin is going to go next, and he's going to come this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he's going to sprint for his second action. Actually, you know what? We're going to use his special ability of combat drugs and perform another move action. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And at that point, this room is opened up. So we take these and shuffle them back into the room pile. And we're going to be drawing 2 cards. And the lowest number goes out. So the 4 goes out in the orientation. Now, since the Eversword used his second action to move 3 more spaces, he does have 3 more spaces to move. So we'll go right next to him like that. For his final movement, he will not be able to attack because he has already used both of his actions, and I don't want to use his friend zone action right now. This guy is stunned. Next, the Colexis Assassin is going to go ahead and move, and we're just going to go straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go straight down the hallway here, try to get a little bit further into whatever's going on here. Then we're going to sprint for our second action. Roll a die, and he moves 2 more. So 1, 2. And then the Vindicare is going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then his second action is going to be to sprint. So he can move up to 5 spaces. But we only want to do 1, 2. Now the first thing we do in the Chaos phase is we come over here and we move this little Chaos Familiar. He's on the 16th spot right now, but we're going to move him to the 15th spot, which is right behind the Sorcerer Lord, and you probably can't see him at this point, but he is there, dutifully marking what round it is. Okay, so that's the first thing that we do, and then we come back to the board over here, and we draw an event card. So this one says, this is a psychic event. All renegades add an additional +1 to their dice rolls when performing fight actions, including those made as a result of reaction attack ability, until the start of the next Chaos phase, unless they are fighting the Colexis Assassin. So unless they're fighting the Colexis Assassin here, all of the renegades are going to have +1 to their fight rolls. So we're going to keep that one right there so that it could be a reminder for us. Then we move from the event cards phase to the renegades on patrol phase. Now this is where all of these guys who are just on patrol, they have not yet been alerted to our presence as the assassins. We see how far they move. So we start with this guy here, and they roll a d6, so he moves 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. As you can see here, there's a space that he's about to move into that has 2 arrows, one going this way and one going that way. This is a 1 to 2, this is a 3 to 6. So when he lands there, that's going to determine his facing. So it's a 4, so he's going to continue walking straight. This guy is going to go next, and we roll a die, and he moves 2. So 1, 2. That's all he does. We come over to entry point 6, and he is going to move 1 spot. Now we move 1 spot, and there's those arrows again. 4 to 6 this way, 1 to 3 this way. So when he comes out, which way is he going to go? 1 to 3. He's going to turn this way, walking away from the assassins. Now, this guy over here is going to roll, and he got a 3. So he's going to have a 1, 2, 3, then he turns this way. Now at this point, when he turns, he has line of sight to this guy right here because he has cone of line of sight. So this is definitely, he can see this guy right there. Now, since he sees the assassin, he is actually going to go on alert. Now that we've done all of the patrol movement, now we do renegades on alert. So we do have 1 renegade that is on alert, and so now we have to ask ourselves some questions as shown here. Is an assassin adjacent to the renegade? No. Is an assassin within 6 squares of a renegade and within its line of sight? Yes. So now the renegade shoots at the assassin that he has line of sight to. So he's going to take a shot here. He has an auto pistol, which means he rolls 1 dice, and he has to get a 6 on that 1 die. He misses. All right, but he was able to get off an attack. Now what we would do is since he attacked, we have to count 6 spaces away, and any renegades that are 6 spaces within this guy are also going to be on alert. This is the raising the alarm bell phase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is definitely within, so he goes on alert. And there are no other ones that are within 6 spaces. So now in the Assassin's phase, this guy right here comes out of his stupor and becomes on alert. But I think that is too little too late, because the Eversor Assassin is going to fight him with his Nero Gauntlet and Sword. Oh, he missed, but he's going to use his combat drugs and try that same attack again, because he has that ability, and we get him that time. So he is out, but since he performed 2 actions there, we are going to use his Friend Zone ability that he can use 3 times in a game and perform a move action. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which puts him within line of sight of that room right there. And we turn over both of these. The 1 gets placed. Another guy comes out right there. Doesn't have line of sight on him yet, so that's actually a good thing. This room is shuffled back in. All right, so we move on to the Calidus Assassin over here. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually right here, when she came in, since he is on alert, he gets a shot. And 4 plus 1 is 5. He misses. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to get an attack in. And her attack with the phase sword is 1 die plus 2. So that's 5 plus 2 is 7. So that is a hit. And then her hit and run, she can perform a free sprint action. So she can sprint 2, 1, 2. She's going to go down this road down here. Vindicare Assassin is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's going to take a shot at this guy who is alerted but running away. And he has a die roll plus 1 with his Exodus weapon. So 2 plus 1 is 3. That misses. Those are his 2 moves though. So now we go on to the Chaos phase. And that is how this game is played. It's a very simple game. It's not difficult at all. But the assassins have to find the power source room. And once they find the power source room, the assassins have to end their turn on one of these 4 squares that's outlined by the blue. And then, once they have done that, they have to find the teleportarium. And once they find the teleportarium, they can end their turn on one of these 4 squares, which will then transport them to the temple. Once an assassin lands on one of these 4 spots, having teleported themselves to the temple, all of the event cards that call for new renegades to spawn on the Sanctum board pieces are now used to spawn here. Once the last assassin is over here, all of these other boards are done away with, and you just play on this board. Moving around is very much close quarters, and it steps the game up to a different level as far as difficulty is concerned. All right, so again, you only have 16 rounds to take out the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. If you achieve that, you've won. If you do not achieve that by the end of 16th round, you are the loser. And that is how you play. I didn't know what to expect from this game. And as we were teaching through it, I had some people that I was teaching how to play who were definitely not miniatures games fans, not even close. And they enjoyed themselves, kind of. It definitely wasn't their style of game, but they didn't not enjoy themselves, I guess you could put it that way. It's a very light-hearted dungeon crawl kind of game where you're having to search out and find the room, and that's one of the aspects that I did like about it. There are 2 rooms that you don't know exactly where they are. You have to find one and the other, but the other won't be usable until you find the one. So you could find the teleportarium first and then say, okay, well, that's where we need to be, but we've got to turn this sucker on, right? So now we have to go find the power grid, the control room to turn the teleportarium on. So the combat system is light, not difficult at all, probably not what your normal tabletop gamer is going to be looking for, but also not so convoluted that just a regular board gamer would not feel off-put by it as well. So combat, not bad. As far as the models are concerned, now this is a Games Workshop game, so you know we're going to take a look at the models and see how good they are or if they were lacking or something to that effect. And I kind of found all of the Chaos models to be lacking, except for the Sorcerer Lord. The Sorcerer Lord model looked really cool, but again, this is one of the reasons why I never played Chaos Space Marines. It got all those spiky bits all over the armor. It was actually painful putting his model together because, you know, having to apply pressure and some of those sticky spiky bits are just digging into your fingertips. So, but the modeling on the Sorcerer Lord and the Assassins were all top notch. Now, the Calidus Assassin looks very fragile, and the Eversor Assassin has an arm that's kind of shooting, you know, hits his shooting hand, and it's kind of out on its own without any support. And I've had to repair both of those since I originally put them together. And part of that, I think, is because there is no insert whatsoever in the box. Now, another thing I have to mention about Execution Force is quite simply replayability factor. Now, there are things in the back of the rule book that give you different objectives to kind of try to shoot for, you know, trying to accomplish the mission without any assassin taking any wounds, trying it a solo mission where just one assassin goes in and tries to accomplish the mission and stuff like that. There's different ways of trying to beat the game, but how you actually play the game is very samey. So for, I guess, regular board gamers, that would be a problem. The fact that it does have a solo, you can play the game solo. You can control all of the different assassins on your own, and then you take charge of the chaos people on their phase. So you can play this game solo. So maybe that's a way to kind of counteract some of that. But replayability factor is really low on this one. And the quality of the stuff in the game, apart from the models, is not that good. The board that I have been playing on, I've only had this out of shrink for less than a week, actually. And the boards are already starting to warp. Again, I do live in South Florida. We have high humidity down here, so that might be the factor. The high price tag is really going to hurt what would otherwise be considered not a bad game. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy myself, but it takes that hit because of, first of all, it is an expensive game, and I don't think you get what you are going to be accustomed to getting right out of the box if you're throwing $90 to $100 at it. So that is the Assassinorum Execution Force, a decent game, one that was fun, not too hard, very light. Cooperative, exploration, all of that was good, but I think the hefty price tag is going to turn some people away. But again, that's your choice. So hey, I'm just trying to keep it real over here, y'all. We'll see you on the flip side.